After hearing this story, you might think, wow, you're such a good person. You're such, a kind person. You help these people. But I see it differently. Here's the thing. I have met so many people. I have met so many people in my life, and I know if someone do some type of kindness towards me, I do recognize that. But if that person repeatedly say it, that stops being kindness. Why I wanted to make this video was the same time like this happened, right before, a few days before, something happened, and that person made me feel like they were doing something for me because they were helping me, not because it made them feel good or because it was beneficial for them as well. So they repeated the fact that they were helping, like, I'm helping you. That's why I wanted to make this video, because not just because the story was beautiful and everything happens for a reason and all of that story, but I want to make sure that you know that when I did all of this, I did it selfishly. Everything we do it selfishly, and we have to recognize that. We don't always have to put that crown on our head and say like, oh, like I'm such a great person, that's why I did this. I am a selfish person. I do everything because it pleases me. If I do some type of kindness, that kindness makes me feel good, makes me feel happy. That's why I did it.
Okay, I just got home. I'm in Frankfurt. But I stopped filming because I met someone in the airport. But before I tell you about that, let me tell you, everything happens for a reason. Yeah, everybody says this, but we don't really know why. Sometimes we just say that and we don't really know the reason. But I think this time I know the reason. I mean, at least in this case. A day before I arrived to Frankfurt, well, no, one day before my flight, I went to buy some things in a shop, and then they told me, like, we don't accept card, we want cash. So I took out cash, I paid, and then I had €5 change. And I had like a backpack, I had a bag, and I'm wearing so many things, so I didn't want to put it there. So I put my €5 in my phone case. And then I left it, I went in the metro, and I see this man with a bag of things that he's selling in the metro. So he's trying to sell them, and he's going around to people saying he has hats, and he's like, here you go, but nobody was buying. And he even came to me and I said, no, thank you. And then I see him go through, and I was like, I'm just like, he's working and I should be supporting, because he could have been begging, but he's working. And he's probably didn't have the opportunity to apply for a job because maybe he doesn't have papers. So I called him and I said like this from across the room, and he came to me and I said, how much is it? And he said, €5. So I took out from my phone case and I gave it to him. And I took that hat because I'm like, okay, I don't need it right now. And I didn't need to put my my €5 in my phone case, but I did. So I'm like, okay, maybe this money was meant for him. So I said, maybe this hat is meant for someone. So if I find someone that's cold on the streets, I will give it to them. So I'm holding this hat on my hand, and I went to have lunch with my friends because that's where I was going. And I was walking looking for my friends, and it got so cold, my ears were about to fall off. So I put the hat on. Yeah, so I was the person that was going to be cold and that's going to need the hat. I know. So that €5 served me. Everything happens for a reason. It's not finished there. I was taking out my my camera to record this, and I see a woman that's a nun. She was black, and I just saw her, Whoopi Goldberg from Sister Act. That's how I saw. I'm just like, oh my gosh, she's so cute. I'm just gonna go say hi. I went close to her and asked, excuse me, do you need help? She doesn't speak English, and she just showed me her boarding pass. And her boarding pass, it says Addis Ababa, so she's flying to Addis, and she's black, and she have a mask and everything, so I thought she was Ethiopian. So I was like, hey, and I start speaking to her in Amharic. She doesn't understand. So she starts speaking in Spanish, and I'm like, perfect, I speak Spanish, you speak Spanish, we can communicate. And then I see her fly. She's like, yeah, I'm trying to find where my gate is, but it's also in the evening, but it was 9 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, oh my God, what are you gonna do here all day? She's like, I don't know, I'm just looking where, which terminal it is, and I'm just gonna sit there and wait. And to mind you, she's a nun. That means they live in the abbey and they don't leave the abbey. Like, they don't leave the monastery at all. So it's very rare for her to leave the monastery. And she just had, like, her mother passed away and she had to go bury her mother. That's why she left. That's the only reason. But other than that, they just lived in the abbey. They just pray at work and that's all they do. So this is like a very, very strange place for her. Okay, I'm stopping this a few times because I'm following a map. I'm on my way to the DHL office to receive something that I ordered online. So bear with me, we'll cut it. Oh, and if you're still here and if you're not subscribed, do click in the subscribe button because, we hang out, we talk, you travel with me, you go to the DHL office with me, I tell you stories that happens to me. Great stuff. Back to the story. I said to her, well, if your flight is at 9 something in the evening and it's 9 o'clock in the morning, you have the whole day. And I'm like, you can't stay here. I said, come with me, come to my house. So she's like, okay. So I took her things and we went to my sister's house. And then while we were like buying a ticket, train ticket and everything, we found another Argentinian girl who don't speak English, and we helped her out. We all came together with the train, and then after we arrived home, it was about like 12 o'clock or something. Hello, cutie.
Hi.
How are you? How's school? You don't have school today? What are you doing here?
I'm going home.
Oh, you're going hard. Okay, good. She's at home now. I just came out to get some water and stuff, and I'm gonna go back. Isn't this so cool? Yeah, so cool. Ooh, hello. My sister made lunch. We had lunch, and there was plenty of time. So I said, you know what? Since you never leave the abbey, I'm going to give you a mini tour of Frankfurt. So I took her out. We went to walk by the center. I took her to the Christmas market and to a cathedral that was here since the 15th century. Because of World War II, it went bye-bye and then they built it again and then again, Anyways, lots of story with this church. And she was very happy. She was so excited. I tried to film her, but she said like, no, we're not even allowed to be out. So it's not a good idea that I'm, doing videos and stuff. So I said, okay, I respect her wishes, and I didn't do a video of her. Maybe I'll put this is her, but you can't see her face, so it's fine. We came home and my sister took us with a car and we dropped her off in the airport. And of course, after I arrived in the airport, I found her door and everything, but I still didn't want to leave her because she doesn't speak English or Amharic. So I found some people that were going on Addis Ababa flight. I got her to be with them and we said goodbye. So basically what she said to me was she was there for a few hours. She tried to speak to lots of people and they all ignored her or said something to her and went away. And she was just there like lost. And I tapped into her shoulder and asked her if I'd help. And she said, you were my guardian angel. You were sent to me. So what I'm trying to say here is,
when I bought something from the man on the metro, so I saw him, and when I said no to him, I felt guilt. I felt guilt that I could buy something from him and I said no. And that guilt, if I didn't buy something from him when I go out, it would have not been good. Like I would have thought about it for some time and it would have made me really uncomfortable and unhappy. So I addressed that issue and said, come here, sir. And I bought something from him. Yes, it did help him because I did supported his business, but it also helped me. So I no longer feel guilt. Now I feel happy that I actually feel like I supported his business. I felt happy. And at the same time, it was there, this hat was there for me when I was cold. So I won two things by sharing by doing this act. So it's a win-win. And in the second one, for this lady, she called me her guardian angel, and I was there for her just to make her day beautiful. But I did it also selfishly because I met her and I wanted to talk to her, I wanted to help her because it made me feel good. It made me feel good to show her around. It made me feel good to take her home, because if I had told her, this is where you go and you stay here, just thinking about it all day, that this lady is going to be sitting there by herself, hungry, and just sitting there would have killed me. So I took her home selfishly because it made me feel happy to take her home. And I took her out and show her around because that also made me feel good. It made me feel useful. It made me feel, like I actually apported something to her life, or to, not her life, but to that moment. So I did this selfishly because it made me feel happy. What I'm trying to say here is that when we do something good, don't feel like, yes, it is a kind act, but don't feel like you have to rub it in on people's face that, oh, I helped you, so you have to do this for me. Like, there shouldn't be an expectation, and that's something that I face every day, and that's why I have very limited friends and I have very limited situations, because I keep taking people out of my life, because sometimes it just gets to that point that we are missing the beauty of life. The beauty of kindness is when you are kind to others, you're actually being kind to you. So be kind to others, because that kindness comes back in a fold, like in two folds, or I don't know, how would you say that? Yeah, in two folds or something like that. So yeah, be selfish in a kind way. Yeah. Okay, bye.
I accidentally deleted this part, so I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new today. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Okay, thank you, bye.